not a game, it's a rich thing.
What's up, y'all? It is Tasha. We are back with another review of Married at First Sight. Thank you so much for stopping into my channel. If you are new here, welcome. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button on your way out of here. If you are not, you know how we get down over here. We gonna say what it is, have a lot of fun. Y'all gonna comment in the comment section below. We gonna chit chat it up. Y'all know how it go. So we are back with season 15, episode 3 of Married at First Sight. Y'all can see from the background, I am not home. My computer is over here to the left of me, so please just excuse me if I'm looking over to the left. I'm just looking at my computer to make sure I gathered all the notes of another 2-hour episode, y'all. Whew. Wednesdays roll around real fast. I feel like when Married at First Sight is on real fast, y'all. So let's jump into the episode so we can, discuss what happened, because it was kind of all over the place trying to, keep track of all 4 weddings and where they were and what's happening and all that kind of stuff. So let's just jump right into it. So of course we already did 3 weddings. We got 2 more weddings to go, Kristen and Mitch, Morgan and Ben. So if y'all remember, Morgan and Ben's wedding is now postponed because Ben has the vid, and Kristen is the one who basically wanted to surprise her dad with, a whole entire wedding and wanted him to be supportive of her. Yay. So we get right back to where we left off at. Her dad still has this look of shock and horror on his face and tells her that she is insane because, if something crazy happens, you are already married to the person. It's not like you can just get up and leave and walk away. She says, I know this can be bad, but this can also be good, and I'm really hopeful that something good will come out of it. So I really want your blessing. So we ended up going through this whole song and dance with him and all the dramatics. He ends up being very supportive of her and tells her to just give it a shot, because you try the traditional way. It did not work. So let's do Married at First Sight, okay? So over with the guys with Mitch. They are still fighting over his bow tie, and Mitch is being a bitch at this point. He says he's doing Married at First Sight because this is the only way he will probably get married. And I said, if this ain't a red flag for your behind, what do you mean this is the only way you will get married? So the only way you can get married is by a woman who basically knows absolutely nothing about you, because the minute she learns how you behave and the things about you, she won't want to marry you anymore. That's kind of the vibe I was getting. Maybe I'm wrong, but when he said that, it was like red flags waving all over the place, okay? But anyway, they finally get his bow tie all worked out. I believe it was a producer that came in and finally got him put together so the groomzilla could be laid to rest for now, y'all. So Kristen tells us all the wild things she's done prior to, doing this cliff dive and all this other nonsense. But getting married at first sight is the biggest risk she's ever taken. And she actually hopes to get the biggest reward from this. So we then see a gift that Mitch got for her, and it ends up being a plant, because he's like, we can grow, the plant can grow, the plant can bloom. It kind of represents our love, blah, blah, blah. And then enter James Allen into the chat and gives her an engagement ring. And she, starts to get a little teary-eyed. She really can't control it. And I'm just like, girl, pipe down. It's not like this man knew what type of ring you really wanted. And this is like getting on one knee being proposed to. So stop with the dramatics, child. But she actually ends up letting us know that getting this ring is very meaningful for her, because her ex-fiance 4 years ago, the one who went on the run before the wedding, actually paid with her ring with a credit card. She says, of course, when they didn't get married, he ended up not paying a credit card. So she had to pay for the credit card. So the poor thing ended up paying for her own engagement ring, and then she ended up having no marriage to show for it. Whew, child. So Mitch lets us know that he's been having some weird dreams, even some ex-girlfriends showing up in his dreams, and he thinks it's his dreams tying up some loose ends for him. Well, okay. His mom then walks him down the aisle with, his big bandage on his forehead. They then go back to Kristen, and she hears her friends cheering, because as Mitch comes out and he has a bald head, and he's kind of asking her friends, does she like men with bald heads? And they start, hooting and hollering, and she's like, oh, what's that? What's going on? The producer's like, it's probably his family. No, girl, it's your friends out there, okay? So, and then after the bridesmaids walk down, her mom then walks down the aisle. And of course, she's not in a wedding dress, but Mitch is looking like, Is that her? That's the wife, y'all? I'm unsure. Because, I mean, the mama looks good. I ain't gonna hate. Her mama looks good. But he was wondering if that was the wife. And I was like, mama is just taking her moment. But mama, go ahead and take a seat. Let's get this show on the road, okay? And get your daughter down here, all right? But she was definitely giving me the vibes of, I know your daddy gonna be here. And I don't think, you know, they together. So let me show your daddy what he missed out on. Okay, I ain't mad at your girl. So then Kristen is getting nervous because she's like, all eyes are going to be on me. Everybody's going to be judging, you know, how I look. Everybody's going to be looking at me to see my reaction to how he looks within the first 30 seconds. So she's freaking herself out. She then walks out with her dad with his straight from the airport clothes that he has on. They shake hands and Mitch the bitch seems to be pleased with his wife. So Mitch friends, as the officiant is saying these things, that he is a full package. He's always on the move. He has two important girls in his life, which is his two nieces. They then say that he's passionate about saving the planet. And she says, ooh, I recycle. Girl, that's not what he means. He's Captain Planet around here, okay? Kristen friends say he is lucky to get a great woman. She loves the beach and she is the strongest woman they know. She's loyal, she's steadfast in the good and bad, and she really expects the loyalty in return. So Kristen reads her vows first. She vows to show all parts of herself, to learn the things he loves and love those things too, to protect him during this crazy journey. And no matter what this brings, she'll always have his back to see him through. Aw, let's move on. Next, we see Mitch, and he tells her he's fully committed to this journey. He vows to be her solid partner in marriage and to value her needs as if they are his own. He wants to make space for how she is feeling, be honest with her at all times, and have an open heart for growth, family, and new adventures. Aw, Mitch, this sounds cute as well, but I don't believe any of this BS that's coming out of your mouth and the behavior we've seen from you thus far, okay? So Kristen dad gets a little teary-eyed. They say their adieus, they exchange rings, they are pronounced husband and wife, and they kiss. Mitch is so nervous, child, that he forgets to grab his bride's hand so that, you know, they can cheers at the end of the aisle before they start marching down, and she has to kind of like grab his hand, pull him over like, husband, I'm over here. Whew, she's going to be a lot for little Mitch to handle, okay? So they then get back with some, of course, champagne, and Kristen is already telling him, oh, you're so great. I'm so happy. You've known him for 10 minutes, Kristen. Pipe down, okay? She says to herself that she just needs to calm down, and I'm like, please take heed of your own advice. She asks what he does for work. He says he's in environmental policy. He's in environmental policy, and he really wants to protect the coast and beaches, but he does a lot of work in that realm as an activist as well. She says the first conversation is really going amazing. She loves everything about him. She is hot for him, and she is 100% attractive. And I was like, glad you see it, girl. Go get your man, okay? Because I don't think nobody else out here is wanting him like that. But as long as you feel him, that is great. So now it's back to Ben and Morgan. Morgan is still feeling some kind of way because, you know, at this very moment, I'm supposed to be getting married. Our friends and family are supposed to be here. We're supposed to have my dress. I'm supposed to have the rings. He's supposed to be meeting me. Girl, it ain't happening. Get over it at this point, okay? This is like Michaela 2.0, okay? So Ben was like, before y'all get on me, let me let y'all know I was out here wearing my KN95 mask. I was not out here partying and all in these streets. Basically, he's like, I don't know how I got COVID, but here we are. Nobody knows how they get it most of the time, Ben, when they get it, so relax. But Morgan says, you know, everything will happen when it's going to happen. So she is trying to stay positive throughout this whole situation. So back over to Lindy and Miguel. She says she was nervous at first looking at his suit because she was like, oh, the suit jacket was just so fashion forward. But she was like, once I got down the aisle, I was like, okay, he's cute. You know, I see the whole package. He pulls it off. Okay, girl. He takes pictures with his family, and then the two of them take pictures together. Miguel says that really he has to be on top of his game because he's going to be a fool if he F this up. Well, I guess, but again, you don't really know her yet. So maybe if you F it up, it won't be such a bad thing if she's not the greatest wife. You don't know. So next we see Mitch and Kristen. They are taking pictures with their family and friends. And the only thing I can think of is, why is Mitch holding his baby? Like, I know this is your niece and the love of your life, but this is your wedding pictures and this is your brand new wife that is beside you. Hold her, sir, okay? put that baby down or give her to his parents. Like, sir, we don't need her little pink bubble jacket to be all up in the pictures in the front, okay? So Mitch's friend, as they separate, then asks if they are bonding. And again, y'all, it's been 10 minutes. I don't know how much bonding you expect them to do at this point when they really had only, 2 minutes of alone time with each other. He says, he's still shocked, but he says she was really pretty, but I wasn't completely blown away by her. Excuse me, Mitch? You ain't the prize yourself, but okay. He says he's much more attracted to women in their natural state, and he thinks she may be a little bit more high maintenance, but he says, but she is voluptuous. And I said, we both talking about Kristen? Voluptuous? This child is probably all of a size 4 of a size 6 with really no curves, and you call this I digress. I'm not gonna go there, okay? So Lindy and Mitch are at their reception. He's pointing out his friends as they're trying to get familiar with one another. Not Lindy and Mitch, y'all. Lindy and Miguel with their family members. Miguel says he woke up this morning single and now he's married to a wonderful woman named Lindy, but he doesn't know her last name, but he thinks it starts with an E is what he said. So they do their first dance. She is very awkward because y'all know she has not slow danced because she's grown up in this sheltered religious life that she has not even had a dance. And at this point, I'm just yelling at the TV, grow up, Lindy. Grow up, girl. You knew you was going to have a first dance. Maybe you should have went to a little dance class or something to get you comfortable before you came on this TV show acting like you have never touched a boy's hand at this point, girl. Cut it out. So they talk about their first impressions, and she tells him that she thought he was cute. He says he isn't going to tell her that she's pretty because she knows it. And she's like, you better tell me. And I'm the same way, like, excuse me, Miguel. You better tell her every day that she is pretty, okay? It doesn't matter that we know we pretty. We still want to hear it. Okay? Thank you so much, sir. So back over to Kristen and Mitch. He has requested a jacket for Kristen because it's a little bit chilly outside, and we see that as a trend with the weddings. And the first thing I thought of is, sir, you have on a suit. Your suit comes with a jacket. You didn't think you could take your jacket off and give it to your new wife if she's cold? No? You just would rather yell and say for somebody to get her a jacket and then to say you aren't afraid to cause a scene. Well, we know that much, Mitch. We know that much. You're going to be such a problem. So they do their first dance. They both say they haven't really danced like this since high school. And I'm like, what? Aren't both of y'all in y'all like, isn't she like in her early 30s? We know he's in his late 30s or 40. And y'all haven't slow danced since high school? Whew, child. But anyway, she says she's enjoying kissing him, but it's still in front of all their family and friends and stuff. And she just wants to get more private kisses at this point. So Mitch then starts talking about wanting to see her in her natural state. She finally took her shoes off. So, I'm glad that she's comfortable because I know those are uncomfortable. And, I hate that she has to just hold up this dress. I just want to slap Mitch across the face because what did you really expect? It is her wedding day. Did you expect her to show up in sweats? Like, Mitch, cut it out. You are really being the male version of a Karen at this point because you are complaining about everything, even things that no one needs to actually complain about, like her being in a pretty wedding dress with heels on and makeup. Sir, cut it out. Oh my God. But he says in the past he would project everything he wanted in a woman onto the woman. And of course that didn't work because that wasn't innately who the woman is. So he is trying to really take it slow this time and not do that. So now when we move over to Stasha and Nate, the guests are tapping on their glasses. Ting, ting, ting. Y'all know how it goes. And they're acting like, what are we supposed to do? What does that mean? We are 15 seasons in, people. Cut it out. That means they want y'all to kiss. So anyway, they kiss. She says kissing him is giving her butterflies. It's giving me more of an upset stomach, but okay. She says she is happy with who they have picked because she thinks he's very attractive. And again, girl, where? But that's your man, not mine. She asks if he only wants to stay in San Diego and live there. He says he like it, but he's open to moving. She says basically She's ready to hit the ground running anywhere. She can work anywhere. She likes to travel, and she's down for whatever. She was starting to talk, and then he cuts her off and asks her if she requested a younger man. And I was like, Lord, the stroking of this man's ego that she's going to have to do, it is going to become exhausting after about 7 days into this wedding, child. She says no. He tells her that his age range was between 27 to 34. And of course, I believe she's like 38, I think. And she was like, oh, so I wasn't even in there. And he was like, yeah. After saying that, I talked to Pastor Cal, and Pastor Cal was like, well, you want a woman that's a boss and independent. Do you think you're going to find that in that age range? And he was like, no, I guess not. I probably better increase it. So Pastor Cal, you coming with the shits already? So, because I'm feeling some kind of way that you wanted him to increase that to, you know, sugar mama status. Is that what we were doing here, Pastor Cal? Because there are plenty 27 to 34-year-olds that are bosses and have their stuff together. So why does he need to rearrange that to date someone older? Because, you know, she's more likely to, you know, be the boss to this young little whippersnapper here. Like, Pastor Cal, don't start already. We only episode 3, don't start. So we checking in on Justin and Alexis. She's freezing too. And I'm like, can we please move the party indoors, people? Because everybody's out here cold. She says she likes him already because, you know, she really needs to balance between her personality, and he's a bit calmer than she is. He says he is a natural pleaser, and she, of course, is like, don't tempt me with a good time, Justin. Don't do it. And I am still kind of shocked that she is feeling him like this, but I hope it works out, y'all. So Lindy and Miguel have little, Miguel's family actually has little cutouts of his face, and they're holding it up over their face. I'm like, team too much, but okay. He asks if she speaks Spanish, and she's like, oh, I really do love Spanish. Like, it's such a sexy and romantic language. Like, I tried, you know, to go to Spain and stuff, and I learned a little bit, but I really didn't take it seriously. So then Miguel starts to talk in Spanish, and she gets all excited, and she's just like, oh, I'm so excited to be able to learn Spanish from you. She is just completely smitten and gushing all over Miguel at this point. Okay, y'all, she don't know what to do with herself. He then asks her what she thinks about being with the older man. She says she's cool because she told the experts, obviously, that 32 was kind of the youngest that she wanted to go. And I honestly can't remember how old Miguel is. So back over to Mitch and Kristen. They're talking, and he tells her that he hasn't really ever been in a long-term relationship. Note the red flag, girl. He says he's warming up to her more and more. And of course, that's when he wanted her to take her heels off because, you know, he just wants her to be so natural. And he just, you know, he basically wants her to strip down from all of this stuff that she has on, take this makeup off, put on some sweats, a tank top, and put her hair in a bun and put her glasses on. I don't know what he's expecting, but sir, it's her wedding day. You're getting on my nerves at this point. So all the couples cut their cake. The frosting looks hard as a rock, but hopefully, you know, the inside of the cake was delicious. So Lindy and Miguel, they chat with their friends, and she says she's really crushing on him. And she's like, now, I don't know if it was her or if it was the friend, because their faces was kind of turned and I couldn't catch it as I was watching if it was coming out of her mouth or the friend's mouth. But somebody said, I heard Puerto Ricans were good in bed. And I said, Maps, what in the stereotype is going on here? Or even is that a twinge of racism? What is happening here that we thought this was the appropriate clip to leave in and not leave on the cutting room floor of, I heard Puerto Ricans were good in bed? That's what we doing? So Lindy talks to his sister, and she says he really needs someone who's going to put the effort into making their relationship work, because he will. Lindy is telling the sister that basically you're the most important person that I'm going to talk to tonight besides him, because their parents are not there. And Lindsay just goes in and she starts going into this Valley girl voice, and then the sister starts going into like this mixture of a Valley Jersey girl voice, and their two voices together were driving me a bit insane, y'all. I ain't even gonna hold you, because at this point I'm just looking at Lindy, and Lindy just looks like a 16-year-old girl who just don't know what she want or need out of life, and she will just agree with whatever's being said because she just wants to be liked. That's what I'm getting from her. So his sister is just going on and on that her brother is such an amazing man despite, you know, their upbringing, because she says, you know, she keeps saying, oh, I'll let him tell you, but then she starts saying, you know, how they practically raised themselves, and I think they kind of only partially maybe had their dad around. I don't know. So her family asks him if he believes in a higher power, because we know they are super religious, and Miguel says organized religion just really doesn't make sense to me. And again, experts, maths, this is what we doing already. We're going to pair somebody who is super religious with someone that doesn't necessarily believe in a higher power. Because he's like, I don't really understand how, you know, maybe one power trumps another power, and you know how all that works. And it's just, you know, I'm just not a fan. And I'm just like, Lord, was this not a deal breaker for her on her side, that the person had to be religious? Whew, child, this is going downhill real fast as Miguel is stuttering, trying to find the words to say to her family, okay? So next up, we see Mitch goes to talk to Kristen's mom, and she asks, you know, what his impression was of Kristen, and he tells her, you know, oh, well, you know, you're beautiful. So, you know, she gets her looks from you, and she's beautiful. And I really thought, you know, when you came down, I thought it was like, is that the wife? It wasn't a traditional wedding gown, but I wasn't sure. And I was like, okay, Mitch. But then he ends up saying he doesn't believe in love at first sight. And I said, but Mitch, the question she asked you was, what was your first impression of Kristen? That we did not get the answer to. She asks what made him do this, and he says, basically, you know, I'm in my mid-30s. Everything looked pretty good on paper, but I was still single. So I was in the best place career-wise, and I was ready. But basically, I just ain't had nobody to marry at this point. He tells her mom that he is really mission-based in his work and is not financially driven. And Mama is like, that's cool and all, but she's going to want somebody that shares financial goals that she does as well. And I'm like, period. Broke boys don't deserve no. I know that's right. That's what Cardi said. That's what Cardi said. Don't blame her, not us, okay? So Alexis and Justin is talking to his brother. His brother has finally come full circle and is supporting him. His brother says maybe he was tainted a little bit thinking about what marriage should be, but in talking to Alexis, he realized, you know, he's good and I don't have no more reservations. You find all that out in maybe an hour or two. Okay, Alexis goes to talk to his groomsmen and asks for the cheat codes for Justin. They say as long as she's understanding that he is always trying, he'll be good. They tell him that he is very sensitive. We've definitely already seen that with Justin. But they really just want to know if she's going to be a ride or die. And she's like, dying is a bit much. And I don't blame her. She was like, but he's my man. And I'm in it as long as he's in it. And I'm like, okay, girl, that's all we need to hear, okay? They then show a confessional with Alexis, and in this confessional, Alexis has clearly had a few drinks at this moment, and she lets us know that initially she was not attracted to him, but he's grown on her after getting to know him more. On the other side, we see Justin is talking to her sisters, and they're talking about how protective they are because she is the baby. So they let them know you must protect her or you will basically hear from us. The guys then ask her what the cheat code is for her, and she says basically if she is upset, he better text her, Skype her, email her, fax her, send a pigeon, send a paper airplane, whatever it is that he needs to do to get her attention and get her back, he needs to do it, okay? Next, we see Mitch and Miguel. They run into each other in the bathroom. They ask about each other's wives, and Miguel says basically he's smitten and he's going full steam ahead. And of course, we know Mitch is like, yeah, I'm just out here in the shallow end, and we're going to see how this goes over the next several weeks before I, really dive all the way into this whole marriage thing, child. So back over to Stasha and Nate. Nate meets with Stasha's friends and sister, and they ask his intentions, and they want to know what's popping tonight. He says he just wants to talk to her because, the physical is already there. Like, we already feeling each other. So, we just need to talk and see what's going on. So she talks to his groomsmen, and she says that she's a bit stubborn because she's been single for so long now that it's like, you know, she come and go as she please, does essentially what she wants to do. So now she's going to have to think about somebody else's feelings. His friend says he's open and friendly and asks basically where she sits on him having female friends. And she's like, as long as a boundary isn't crossed, we are cool. The boundary probably will be crossed, girl, so just be ready. So they both then sit with his friend Megan, so old girl that's kind of been giving a little stank eye at the wedding the whole time. And she tells Stasha, you know, you're welcome, you know, to reach out to me if you ever need anything. She's trying to really seem like the really supportive and friendly girlfriend of the husband, but secretly she's jealous that you married him and not her. But was it just me that Nate actually looked a little bit nervous sitting next to Stasha as Megan was talking? Like, it seemed like he was almost afraid of what Megan might say, and he was just kind of like, girl, please keep it PG. Do not tell her all our business that we have probably done that nobody knows about, okay? Let's just keep it at game night and keep it at hiking and stuff, okay? Maybe it was just me, but let me know in the comments below if y'all felt the same thing. She lets Stasha know that they've only known each other a year, and she's like, we do all these game nights, we do hiking, we like sunsets, and she's like, she starts to get a little bit emotional and starts to tear up just a little bit, and Stasha's like, I see you getting a little emotional, like, and she's just like, I just love my friends, and I just love them. And I'm like, no, those are tears because your heart is broken, ma'am. That is what it is screaming to me. And Stasha, you better keep your eyes on her. If you want to stay with this man, you better keep your good eye on Miss Megan, okay? Stasha is like, okay, well, you know, maybe we'll have to find some time, and maybe we'll have to, you know, decrease a little bit on these game nights and hikes and sunsets and all that stuff, because he got a wife he got to spend time with, okay? So over with Alexis and Justin is trying to make it sexy to pull off the garter, and I just really want him to stop. He ends up biting it off, and y'all know Alexis has no filter of the mouth, and Alexis is like, this is so awkward. I'm looking in my husband's eyes and I'm looking in my mom's eyes, and then my vagina is just in the middle. Okay, Alexis. Oh, I love you, girl, but geesh. So it's now Miguel's turn to pull the garter off Lindy, and child, he's trying to do a little dance, but he eventually just gives up and basically takes her garter off the traditional way. And I'm like, thank God, because I think Lindy would have turned beet red in front of everybody if he would have did anything that was remotely sexual to take that garter off, okay? And then over to Kristen and Mitch. She talks to her friends and, you know, tells them that there is sexual chemistry, and she is very pleased. And I'm like, wait until you see this Mitch the bitch attitude that he has, okay, girl? She says she's worried she's going to be the one that says it's go time. And I say, indeed, that is going to be you. So be ready for that. So to sum up these two, she's head over heels, and Mitch is just like, I'm not sure how I feel about this whole situation. Back over to Nate and Stasha. He is talking to his friends. He says he is basically saying that things feel really natural and there's great chemistry there. Her friends ask, you know, her first thoughts, and she says, you know, she's a little bit nervous when she saw him, and then once she really got a good look at him, she was like, oh girl, we good. Okay, he's good looking enough. Her friends ask if she's gonna bend over and bust it open, and she says no. But Nate, on the other hand, is like, man, she done told me I'm handsome. I done told her she's beautiful. Like, we probably just gonna get it popping. Just because y'all think each other look good and said it, Nate, you think that's enough to get it popping? Okay, his friend then asks what happens if it's only just missionary every time. And he says, you know, I'll just put her literally in the right position. Get this man off my TV already, y'all. Over to Alexis and Justin. Her friends are asking if she's giving up the goods as well. I don't know why is this always a question. Like, why do y'all need to know? Just wait and ask the next day and ask them what happened. We don't need to know if they prepping to smash, okay? So she says no. Justin says, you know, they're probably just lay in bed and talk to get more comfortable with each other. She then tells her friends that he's been celibate, and Justin says, you know, basically if she down, I'm down for smashing. And then they have to talk about Alexa's vaginal canal. And then I completely checked out of the conversation because, again, why? Why are we going there? I don't know. And it's not my business, okay? So the 4 weddings and receptions have finally wrapped up, thank God, and they are headed to their first night alone. And they keep showing Alexis and Justin giving these juicy kisses to one another. And I'm like, y'all look like y'all gonna get it popping, and Alexis gonna blame it on the alcohol because them eyes looking, you know, real low. That head is tilting. These words are slurring just a bit, girl. So Alexis then tells him that, you know, her middle name is Grace after her grandmother that has passed. And he tells her that, fun fact, I always said if I had a daughter, I would want to name her Grace. And she's like, oh, I want sons. And he's like, I want a daddy's girl, blah, blah, blah. It's only been the first night. Let's leave kids out of the equation for now, okay? He asks her reaction when she first saw him. And then she lets us know that, I think I saw you on a dating app like 4 months ago. And he's like, you sure it wasn't me? She was like, it ain't that much, you know, that many almost 7 feet dudes walking around here. So maybe it was you. And then I thought, well, then that means you swiped left on him and you wasn't interested. But I guess now that y'all married, y'all are each other's type at this point. So they get ready for bed. She goes to shower. And I feel like this is the first bride that we actually verbally hear and see, you know, take a shower after all this wedding day. Although Justin, like, he just took the suit off and hopped into bed, child. But Justin, as he's talking to the producers, he has to let us know that his eggplant is getting rock hard. And I'm like, we don't have to know everything. We don't. We really, really don't. And I just can't help myself. Y'all, please forgive me. But as he's taking his clothes off and getting ready for bed, I'm just like, he is just not attractive. Like, his body almost had, y'all know what somebody's body looks like when they've had some type of weight loss surgery. It just seems like they have all this excess skin, but he doesn't look like he was once overweight where he would now have all this excess skin. I just don't know what's going on. Maybe he just needs to get in the gym and lift some more weights and tone everything together. But I'm just not feeling it. Like, that would be a complete turn off for me. But she gets sexy, comes out in her cute little pajamas, and she's like, you know, if something happens in the middle of the night, at least I'm gonna be cute. And she walked in there, she got her thighs out, child. So I'm sure these two are gonna get it in. If they don't get it in tonight, they definitely gonna get it in really soon, because all this kissing and touching and rubbing and hugging that they doing ultimately gonna lead to something, y'all. But that is how the episode ends. So next week, I don't know if we'll jump into the honeymoons or if it's gonna be where they're catching up with the family. I guess we'll see the very last wedding next week as well, once everybody has been cleared for COVID. But that has been it for episode 3, y'all. We are almost 4 episodes in, y'all, and we ain't even seen all the weddings. Child, this is gonna be a long 16, 17 weeks, child. Oh my goodness. But let me know y'all thoughts on the episode down in the comment section below, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.